Good afternoon and welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name is Tim Arter and I have the pleasure of serving as your president this year. Today's program is our annual holiday luncheon with seasonal entertainment. We will also be holding our election of new officers and directors during the club business segment of the meeting. I also wanted to make a special mention of the fact that we have the members of the Rotaract Club from Muskegon Community College with us today. If you want to say hi to them afterwards, they're over in that general direction. So, we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a reflection from Lisa Tyler, and we will recite the four-way test at the end of the meeting. At this time, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. When my children were in elementary school in a multi-age class, their annual holiday program concluded with the song, "Let There Be Peace on Earth," complete with hand motions that they all learned. It's a beautiful song and can bring me to tears, which comes easily to me these days. The song begins, "Let there be," I'm not singing, that's your blessing today. I will not sing. "Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me," and it ends with the same words. There are a couple more short verses in between. It's a short but beautiful and meaningful song. The holidays, whether Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or others, often bring about reflection and a longing for happiness and peace. As we gather with loved ones, sharing laughter, warmth, and memories, let us remember the importance of kindness and understanding. Let us carry the spirit of peace beyond the festive season into every day of our lives. May we choose compassion over conflict, and may our hearts be filled with love and gratitude. In this spirit of peace, let us embrace the beauty of the season and cherish the connections we share.
Very nice, Lisa. You can return to your seats and enjoy your lunch. We will resume the meeting in a little while. Thank you. Viewers are still just getting served, but we are going to move on if that doesn't cause you an issue. I appreciate your willingness to have us do this. We will not be introducing our many individual guests today. You really want to do that? But, however, I ask that our spouses, significant others, and other guests, would you please stand? It should be a lot of you. Just please stand, those of you that are our guests today. Thank you. At this time, I'll call upon Andy Bulow to introduce today's program.
Good afternoon. It's great to see so many people here today. My name is Andy Bulow, and I'm a Rotarian, and I'm also CEO of the West Michigan Symphony. Our home is right across the street at the Frauenthal Center, and I'm proud today to have a very small portion of our orchestra, but if we tried to put the entire orchestra in here, there'd be no room for you guys. So they may be small, but they're mighty. And I wanted to just say a few words of introduction about them. And just to talk to you a little bit about who our musicians are. First of all, in general, I always like to say they're the bricks and mortar of the West Michigan Symphony. We don't own a building. The building is owned by the Community Foundation for Muskegon County. And our musicians are they do this for a living. This is not an avocation for them. And they perform all over the place. I like to say they're Muskegon's cultural ambassadors. And for the majority, music is their livelihood. The music critic of the LA Philharmonic said something that I love to quote. in one of his writings, musicians are some of the most driven, courageous people on the face of the earth. Every day they face the financial challenge of living a freelance lifestyle. With every note, they stretch themselves, emotionally and physically, risking criticism and judgment. Musicians are willing to give their entire lives to a moment, to that melody, that lyric, that chord, or that interpretation that will stir the audience's soul. Now I'll introduce the players. In front of you, we have some regular core members of the West Michigan Symphony and some guests. And a lot of the time, particularly during the holiday seasons, musicians are very much in demand. We don't get much rest during the holidays because we're just playing all over the place. So sometimes our players who are core members of the orchestra are also core members of other ensembles, and they might get pulled to perform with a different orchestra. But fortunately, it's a relatively small community. We all know each other, and there's a larger orchestra that we kind of call Michigan's Freeway Symphony that we can call upon. So the musicians here today include two members of the orchestra, Ethan Adams. And Ethan holds the position of second trumpet player with WMS. He's a regular freelancer and teacher in the Chicagoland area, and he's a regional symphony musician throughout the Midwest. He started a group called the West End Brats in Nashville, and he was selected via competition to tour around Berlin, Germany, and provide educational concerts and master classes, and to study with regular members of the Berlin Philharmonic, which must have been a thrill. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Alex Wilson. And Alex is with us as a guest musician this week. He has led the GVSU trumpet studio since 2015. He's a frequent extra or substitute musician, not only with us, but also the Grand Rapids, Holland, and Traverse Symphony Orchestras. And he has toured as a soloist for the Shenyun Symphony Orchestra during 2 national tours at venues including Carnegie Hall and the Kennedy Center. Next, from our orchestra is Greg Bassett. Greg lives in Holland, Michigan, and performs with both WMS and the Holland Symphony. And right before this meeting, I discovered I didn't have an updated bio on Greg at all. So I went up to him beforehand and said, "I don't have your bio. Can you tell me some things about you?" And he said, "I like to have a clean slate." And then I discovered that he teaches philosophy, and it all makes sense. But in addition, he's operations manager at the Holland Symphony Orchestra, so he knows what goes into administration as well. And then he directs the Kalamazoo College Band, so very busy man. Edward Hickman, known to all of us as Kip, is our principal trombone. He's been principal trombone since 2013, and he's also the Kalamazoo Symphony Orchestra's principal trombone since 2001. Kip grew up in San Diego and received his bachelor's from UCLA and his master's from the University of Michigan. In addition to the orchestras I have mentioned, he's performed with the Lansing, Detroit, and GR Symphonies and the Michigan Opera Theater Orchestra, to name a few, and maintains a very large teaching studio in Kalamazoo, Portage, and Matawan. Lastly, our guest bass trombonist is Tim Warner. And Tim is a second-year graduate student at DePaul School of Music, graduating in 2025, right? Yep. And he is a graduate of the Purchase College Conservatory of Music from 2023. And we are so glad to have him with us. So without further ado, let me introduce to you the WMS Brass Quintet. Thank you.
Okay, just really quickly, I'm going to kind of talk about each of these pieces. That was, I'm going to make it as quick as I can so we can get you on with the rest of your meeting. That was the Sussex Carol, and the purpose of the pieces that we're playing is different traditions around the holidays. So this Christmas Carol was popular in Britain. Words were first published by Luke Wadding, a late 17th century poet and bishop of the Catholic Church in Ireland, in a work called Small Garland of Pious and Godly Songs from 1684. It's unclear whether Wadding actually wrote the music or a song, or it was a song that he was familiar with. Both the text and tune were discovered by Cecil Sharp and Ralph Vaughan Williams, who heard it sung in Sussex, hence Sussex Carol. So the next piece we're going to play is actually a Hanukkah song medley. And I found this on the internet, like you find anything. It was actually, the reason why I knew it would probably be a good, after, ordering it with not knowing what it would sound like, was because it was actually arranged by Micah Davis, who's a veteran bass trombonist of the Israel Philharmonic. So I figured a brass player in the Israel Philharmonic would know how to arrange some good Hanukkah songs. So Davis has chosen several traditional song favorites from the annual 8-day festival. The songs include, and these are in English, Who Can Retell, I Have a Menorah, Rock of Ages, a theme from Handel's Judas Maccabeus, I'm going to apologize for some of the mispronunciations, and Hanukkah, Hanukkah. So here is a medley of Hanukkah songs. Okay, give a shout out to Tim on his solo. And then, if you heard that last bit, we took that a little bit faster, I think, than we did a little earlier in our rehearsal. So Greg had to play his 16th notes a lot faster than we played it earlier. So let's give a shout out to Greg too. So, okay, so the next piece that we're heading into is more sacred music, obviously. And although you can hear this at weddings any time of the year, during the holiday season, Jesu, joy of man's desiring, it's appropriate for any holiday, obviously. But there is some historical connection to the church year and the season of Advent, which, as we know, we're in the midst of coming close on to the fourth Sunday of Advent this coming Sunday. So it is a popular English title of a chorale written in 1723 by Johann Sebastian Bach. And there are two main parts that you can hear. There's the main choral part, but then there's kind of the obligato that everybody is familiar with. So here is Jesu, joy of man's desiring. So next we're going to celebrate the secular tradition that we have during Christmas and with the Christmas song. A classic Christmas song commonly subtitled, do you know what the subtitle is? Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. Written in 1945 by Robert Wells and Mel Torme, and first recorded in June 1946 by the Nat King Cole Trio. So here is the Christmas song. Okay, now we celebrate Kwanzaa. And looking around, there are no brass quintet arrangements of any songs from Kwanzaa that celebrate Kwanzaa at all. So I took it upon myself to find a choral arrangement of a piece called Harambe, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, meaning let's pull together. And this is an arrangement / transcription of a choral version of this piece. So, and I shortened it a little bit because it would have been probably about a minute or two longer. Great piece, and so we hope you enjoy this world premiere of this brass quintet arrangement of Harambe. Okay, we've come to the last piece on our program for you. We'd just like to wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy Holidays, and send you off with We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
That was outstanding. At this time, we'll now proceed to the election of the new officers and directors who will take office effective July 1, 2025. I call upon President nominee Roger Morgenstern to make a motion to nominate the slate of new officers and directors approved by the Board of Directors.
Thank you, President Tim. I nominate the following slate of new officers and directors to take office effective July 1, 2025. President nominee Lisa Tyler, Treasurer Kimberly Taylor, and for our directors, for a 2-year term ending on June 30th, 2027, Dimitri Poland, and for 3-year terms ending June 30th, 2028, Arlen Dean Gaddy, Lisa Kraus, Melissa Moore, and Sarah Rensma Seminga.
Thank you, Roger. Is there a second? We have a second, Ezelyn. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations?
I move that the nominations be closed and a unanimous vote be cast to slate as presented.
There's a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. No, okay. At this time, Mike, would you turn to the birthday slide? It's going to be a big day for the Caring Connection. As you know, I'll be announcing shortly that we're going to be off for 2 weeks. So this is these birthdays for a better part of 3 weeks. So I will not be giving all the dates, but we have birthdays for Jason Smith, David Hogan, David Mettendorp, Troy Wasserman, Jules Terry, Michael Wieses, Danielle Risley, Contessa Alexander, Kelly DeVos, Craig Wickander, Tom Levisi, Stacy Kennedy, and Beth Ann Egan. So, as a tradition, we normally sing Happy Birthday, but similar to somebody who preceded me, I don't sing very well, so we'll start with Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Very well done. It's important. Please make your $10 birthday gift for the Caring Connection. We have envelopes up front, or you can pay online using a link by the rim. But we appreciate it. Next, I think, in the next few weeks, we'll be seeing a spotlight which will highlight how the Caring Connection funds are used for our fellow Rotarians. At this point in time, I want to lead into the spotlight that we have. To our many guests on a weekly basis, we have been showing video spotlights called Rotarians in Action, highlighting Muskegon Rotarians actively serving our community and our club, plus interviews of individuals and organizations that we serve or have served. Today, we spotlight many of the Muskegon Rotary's community service initiatives and Muskegon Rising podcasts. A few points about Muskegon Rising podcast. We consider Muskegon Rising one of our outreach initiatives to our Muskegon community. Over 50 weekly podcasts have provided interviews with individuals and organizations who collectively have and are change agents in the rising of Muskegon. Personally, I also believe these podcasts will serve as oral histories 10 years, 20 years, or even 100 years in the future by those who will be looking back to our time as to what we were doing and thinking during our transformation of Muskegon. So at this time, Mike, would you show the spotlight?
Many of us have been asked, what is Rotary? And we answer in different ways. Our public image is shaped by how we talk about Rotary and how often. We pursue projects and activities that are relevant to the community, and presenting that purpose broadly, publicly, helps spark people's interest and spurs them to get involved. When people understand what our club does to make the world a better place, they're motivated to support our efforts and get involved. Strengthening our public image helps us attract members, volunteers, partners, donors. That's why our Rotarians in Action plan stresses public image. For the past year, a group of Muskegon Rotarians and I have worked to make our club stand out from all the other opportunities that people in our community have to donate, volunteer, and get involved. By discovering and sharing positive change in Muskegon, the Muskegon Rotary Club presents stories of contribution and innovation by other organizations as well as our own. This broad stroke recognition of the value-added efforts in our community places us at the leading edge of communicating growth. Muskegon Rising, in its name, defines our attitude. Our community service function opens every program with the phrase, "Our purpose is to create lasting, positive change." We've been doing that here since 1916. If this first year of video podcasts is indicative of potential growth and reach, our Muskegon Rotary Club is on its way to sharing our intentions with thousands more, both locally and worldwide. After all, 1.2 million Rotarians around the world are challenging us to make Muskegon more relevant and meaningful because we broadcast it. This message is a community service of the Muskegon Rotary Club. Please share your ideas with us.
Pretty powerful, Mike Vogus. At this time, I call upon Meredith Smiley to present the Brave Rotarians contest. We're down to the final straws here.
Now I can honestly say I've been in an orchestra pit. I want to let every one of our guests know that several of our Rotarians have participated in a contest to boost what reach Rotary has. And as you saw in the video, our reach is pretty extensive. Our club focuses not only on things close to home, but things far away from home as well. And so we are down to our last 3 contestants. And so we will have one more spin of the wheel, eliminate one more Rotarian, and we will have 2 winners of coveted Paul Harris Fellows today. Mr. Vogus. Well, it's a good thing I'm not scheduled for Mr. Pittman's courtroom anytime soon. So congratulations to Ed Hendrickson and Eric Seifert. You are now able to use these Paul Harris Fellow Awards as you see fit, whether to keep one for yourself or to present one to many of the great Rotarians and community members we have here in Muskegon. Thank you.
So those funds will be going to Rotary International. I think she might have mentioned that, but for its programs internationally. At this time, we're going to go through our announcements. It's important, and I think you know this already, we've been announcing it for several weeks, so we will not be holding our luncheon meetings on December the 26th and January the 2nd. We will resume on January the 9th. And we will be at the Lake House for this luncheon. Again, be aware, it's the first one back. We won't be able to announce it again. We will be meeting January the 9th at the Lake House. We might ask Kim to send a reminder out. And then, Mike, could you put up the El Salvador slide? Wanted to point out that we are not doing the chili cook-off this year. Due to the difficulty in getting enough volunteers, a lot of volunteer hours for that. And so the chili cook-off used its proceeds primarily for building supplies for the group of Muskegon and other West Michigan Rotarians and Interact students that would go down to El Salvador, and primarily in the recent years been building houses. And so what's important is that we wanted to point out, I'm looking up here, is the slide on the upper left represents what the houses of the people of this Talniki, or Nika, I'm not very good at Spanish, but it's a typical house in this El Salvador town in which the homes are made of bed sheets, tarps, sticks, dirt floors, and anything that they can put up on top of it for a roof over their heads. What you see in the lower right is a house that's been built by our Rotarians, interactors, and others for the citizens of this community. My understanding is over at least 10 years, we have built at least 65 homes in this community, and we often are able to build 3, 4, or 5, depending on the number of people. The house that you're looking at in the lower right costs about $4,000 to build, and so we are looking to fund that, and so we encourage you to take mention of in the RIM this coming week. We are providing some information on that. With a QR code for making contributions to this trip. We're also promoting in the RIM the Sport to a can drive for the benefit of those going on El Salvador. This is the kids who are of some financial difficulties. So please pay attention to the RIM for the pop can drive, in which we're going to be collecting pop cans through I believe the meeting on January the 9th. So that's what I have as far as announcements. And as far as the raffle today, should be a pretty good one. Bill Erickson has the bucket over there. Bill, you want to start out? How much the first one?
Number
821. 821. Do we have a winner? Once you know it, on the opposite side of the room.
The winning number is 9, 5. Half the room just went 3.
953. Oh, there we go.
And for $20, the winning number is. Tracy, what number you have? 9, 7, 7.
977. Okay, so when we come back on January the 9th, our program will be the future of Great Lakes shipping and the Port of Muskegon. It's going to be a good one. Please take special attention and sign up for that one. It's going to be a good program. All like all the rest of ours. At this time, would you please stand and we'll recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Well, have a happy holiday season, and we are adjourned.